Moving on to international injury lists. With the Southern Hemisphere nations touring north in November, a few countries are struggling to put out their first choice 15. The issue isn't clubs not releasing players, it's just guys are literally injured. This is a big issue for rugby right now. We're getting stacked up with too many games, and I think it's causing a major problem. I'll give you one example. England have got 10 of a possible starting 15 with sick notes. I can't come to work, boss. On the positive side, as it's November, it's a good time to look at the fringe players and expose some of those guys that maybe haven't played international rugby too often to top nation games, top tier teams. Now, most countries are taking advantage of this and taking a look at some fresh meat. But this means dipping further into the resources of the clubs from those countries. They've still got their domestic games of importance to play, so kind of dilutes the quality of the Viva Premiership, Pro 12s, top 14 in France, etc. Luckily for us, the spectators of rugby, it isn't soccer. Rugby is taken seriously at an international level, no matter who's on the field. So these guys aren't going to make it a wishy-washy game. They're going to be there trying to prove themselves for their country and trying to nudge out established players, especially with the World Cup around the corner. Wouldn't you if you had a chance? I mean, I certainly would. It can only be good for the game in that sense. But on the other hand, these lads are playing a lot of games. The relatively insignificant LV Cup had to rejig its schedule to fit in between European games and the Premiership and Pro 12s. All at the last minute, literally this past week. It's a bit of a joke. It looks disorganised. People are talking about playing midweek games. I've done that before when I was younger. It's only going to add to the sick notes. Playing Wednesday and then try to recover and play again Saturday or Sunday is fine when you're 100 pounds and you're 13 years old. But top flight players now, 260, 290 pounds, colliding at professional speeds like they do nowadays, it's not going to be long before the England team are using under 19s to fill out the first 15 roster. These lads need a rest from time to time. Oh yeah, USA are hosting the Kiwis this week. Kind of a big deal over here. 61,000 people have bought tickets at Soldier Field in Chicago, the home of the Bears. The biggest crowd there's going to be for a rugby match ever in this country. This could be a pivotal game for rugby in the USA. My skepticism tells me USA are going to get their asses handed to them, and it's going to set the country back 50 years. America doesn't like to lose at anything. They might just walk away from the game completely like they did in the 1920s, and look where we are now, we're starting all over again. But if they show up, put on a good show, against what looks like a full-strength Kiwi squad, which I saw this morning, we might see the start of a shift in the USA. The structure is here in the States. They've got the athletes, and I'm hoping that this is the catalyst that's going to push them through to top 10 kind of positions on a regular basis. The European teams that have USA players on their roster have let them come home early for the New Zealand game. That deal was struck by Nigel Melville, one of the good things that he's done for the rugby in USA. He's the big boss from England who's running the show in America. In exchange for releasing these guys for the New Zealand game, they will lose most of them during November international window. The touring games in Romania, then they'll go to England, I think, playing Tonga, and then France to play Fiji. In my opinion, the deal is worth doing, just for that headliner in Chicago on Saturday, which I'll be watching. All of that follows up with those nice mix of games. That's a good opportunity for the USA to test the fringe players, give them some experience against some very good, strong teams in Europe, and prepare them for the World Cup in England in 2015, which they've already qualified for, which is great. I almost forgot to let you know that I'm doing the Movember thing this year. As you can probably tell from my patchwork Mark Wahlberg type beard. I'm working on it pre-November, and it's one of those that does take me a couple of months to get going. So remember, guys, lads at our age, we think we're indestructible, don't we? The idea of Movember is to raise awareness for things such as testicular and colon cancer and mental disorders. Even though I know a lot of rugby players have to have a few screws loose to be able to play the game, it just gives us an opportunity to start looking after ourselves, eat a little better, educate yourself on what you should or shouldn't be eating at your age or in your lifestyle, and go see the doctor occasionally. All right, look me up on Movember.com and feel free to donate or join my team. I'd love to have you guys on my team and we can go do this thing together. Okay, Ruckers, exciting things happening. You can catch me on BN Sports Thursday evening on the Express Extra, and that's at 6 p.m. live, and then at 9 p.m. I think they repeat it. I'll be in the pub in Miami watching the Kiwis spank America on Saturday, and after that, God knows where you'll find me, but I'm sure you'll see me soon. Peace. See you later.